supporting your local independent bookstore. We know you have lots of choices as to where you spend your time and your money, so we really appreciate it when you choose us. If you could put your phones on silent, that would be fabulous. We're very excited to have the first installment of what is going to be a regular series here at Word, sponsored by the Literacy Exchange, which is headed up by Mary Vieira.
I started in 2009 as just a reading group of just a group of friends of mine. Eventually, I started realizing that I do a lot of volunteer work as well. I am the director of communications for a small nonprofit in New York City. But on the side, I volunteer as an English as a second language teacher to adult learners that are coming from a different country. I came to the U.S. at the age of 8 from West Africa, from Cape Verde, and I didn't know how to speak English, and I know how important it was for me to learn to speak the language. And so since then, I've been so passionate about teaching people to read and write, very basic literacy. But literacy now with this organization is more about consciousness, taking the people who can read and write to read into text, to read meaning, and to get messages from the different symbols that we have out there. We measure success based on money and power. And what really needs to happen is we need to slow down and care about things that are meaningful to us. Americans are deciding and making the choice that they want more out of their life. And that's really what this panel is about. We have Ghislaine Jean. She flew in all the way from Austin, Texas to be here with us today. So her flight came in last night. So I was so pleased to have her. Oh, Laura's here. Wonderful. Laura's our other speaker who was stuck in Maplewood because there's another Words with an S bookstore. And her GPS, her technology told her to go to Maplewood, New Jersey instead of Jersey City. But look at that, the intuitive sense is better than technology. Let's get you a chair. All right, perfect. All right, let's scoot over, Kevin. We'll let everybody on deck here. This is beautiful. I'm so excited. Everybody's here. Why don't you introduce yourself? I'll let you guys do the talking.
My name is Ghislaine Jean, and I'm one half of Writers Against the Storm, which is a husband and wife hip-hop duo based out of Austin, Texas. We kind of point ourselves as being masters of ceremony. Initially, an MC is a rapper, but we take it a step further and kind of evoke the indigenous spiritual practice that hip-hop is. So we're really empowered about that. We host parties that are very spiritual in nature, and we also do a lot of different performances. Recently, PBS did a work on us that is nationally syndicated that you'll get a chance to see. It's also entitled Masters of Ceremony with Arts and Context. I'm also a life coach and spiritual healer practitioner.
My name is Tanisha Kiana Jones, and I go by TK Jones professionally. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of 144th and Vine, LLC, and we are a life consulting agency. We specialize in personal and professional development, and I started that company back in November of 2012. So we just, celebrated a 1-year anniversary since we've been opening, and I've really been in the building stages. And we just started a series where I blog about living actually the third metric, which I got from Arianna Huffington as well. And just we highlight people who are defining success for themselves. We've had a couple different people that I have posted on there, and next month we'll be featuring another person, so look out on the website. It's 144thandvine.org. Again, like she said, I'm a life coach, and I specialize more so on the business side. And if you want to start your own business, or if you're a small business and you're looking to strategically take your business to the next level, or you don't know where to start, I'm the person that you would ask. And we have 2 other consultants with us as well that specialize in other areas, so check us out.
You also are an author.
Yes. Sorry. So I kind of fell upon it, but I lost about 72 pounds. I gained back like 10 within the last year. And through that, I learned all about clean eating and what it means to eat clean. So I kind of wrote a guidebook for girls like me who don't really know what that's about, as well as just my story with clean eating. I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but it was just things that worked for me, as well as recipes that, I was able to create healthier versions of foods for people. So I do that on the side. That's called Fork in Food. You can follow us on Instagram at Fork in Food. and I post recipes up there, and you can also buy a customized meal plan or my ebook at porkandfood.bigcartel.com.
Hi, my name is Annette Brent, and I am a certified life coach. I am a spiritual transformational coach, and most of my focus has been with the LGBT community. I primarily work within the realm of social media. I'm kind of on the frontier of social media. I have a lot of groups where I do one-on-one coaching and also group virtual coaching. One of the things that I focus on is empowerment. I like to empower women to heal beyond their wounds. I like to empower people to think beyond the beliefs that we grow up with, to break out of our box, to break out of our shell. So I call myself a transformational life coach, and it's a process. My clients have to work with me, but I work fast and I work furiously. So we cut through a lot of possible billable hours that one might see with a therapist where you're just in therapy for a long period of time. I'm not a therapist, but I get to the issues that you've been wrestling with for years, and I help you to see what your potential is. So I also am an author of a book called Soul Food for the Soul, and it's actually my coming out story. I've been out since I was about 17 years old, and times have changed tremendously. And that book talks about my journey from the time that I came out about probably 35 years ago to today.
We talk about manifestation and everything that we do. And a trick of the trade that my mother taught me, she said, if you're ever in a rush, or if you're ever looking for a parking spot, especially in the city, she's like, say, manifest thyself a parking spot. So the entire time I'm tapping my foot, I'm like, manifest myself a foot. She's like over and over, and I'm like slowly cruising around looking, and then I see a lady pull out and go, and I'm like, there it is, boom. And I ran around the building, and
I just got goosebumps. Did you get goosebumps?
so the power of, I don't know, the universe. But to introduce myself, my name is Laura Serrano. I am the founder of Feng Shui Manhattan, and I've taken on my mother's business in 2010. It was Feng Shui Long Island, so now we've combined the two, Feng Shui Manhattan, Long Island. And I've been doing this for about 14 years, and just to give you a brief on what Feng Shui is, it teaches you to understand that everything's energy, and everything that, and I'm sure what you're going to share, everything that everybody has mentioned is that you learn to become more observant of your environment, more aware, and it's about learning how to read your, what we like to call your temple, your body, and then even your surroundings, meaning your home, and then the exterior, the landscape, so on and so forth. Everything is a mirror of each other, and part of my job is to teach people that. So teach you how to read the details instead of just seeing the surface, and actually peel back the layers. So it gives you new perspective on life, new insights, new tools on how to navigate. And often I will recommend life coaching, ways to keep yourself healthy. So I guess in my area I'll be talking about well-being. But if you put all these beautiful collaborations together, you get a well-knitted package. And that's really what it is for success.
My name is Kevin Lamb, and I am a yoga instructor. I've been studying yoga for 12 years now, teaching full-time for going on 8. I teach publicly, I teach privately, I teach for a nonprofit called Yoga Within Reach, and I never intended to do any of this. It was all, it all just happened, so to speak. And it was one of life's happy accidents, which I think we probably all agree that we share many happy accidents. I suppose that I focus my teaching based in deep therapeutics, and then the idea of connecting people to their body, their heart, their source, spirit, soul, whatever words we want to use to connect to something greater, and to celebrate the joy of just being who you are, how you are as you are. So it's a great honor to be here with all of you and celebrate the space.
Thank you guys. So I'm going to share Arianna's, we're going to share a video.
In a society dominated by the constant drive to succeed, money, power, status, what does it all really mean?
We've all bought into this male definition of success, which is money and power. And it's not working. It's not working for men, it's not working for women, it's not working for anyone.
I think a lot of women, when they have children and jobs and they're trying to balance their marriages, their lives, they lose themselves in the process. And so you've gotten so far, but you lose your own sense of health, well-being, your relationships with people, and that's got to be possible too.
President and editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post Media Group, Arianna Huffington, along with Morning Joe's Mika Brzezinski, think it's time to redefine success. It's called the third metric.
Valerie Jarrett, Claire McCaskill, you mentioned John Mackey, Susie Essman is going to be there, Candice Bergen, Katie Couric, the list goes on.
It's an idea that immediately generated headlines and deeply connected with women who are tired of trying to achieve society's current definition of having it all.
We all have this place in us, a place of strength, harmony, and wisdom. But most of the time we don't live there.
When I tried to come through the door, there was a long line out to the street of women who wanted to be here. And so you can see that there is an appetite for this. There's a hunger out there. Just imagine if every CEO could hear what women who are working for them are struggling with each and every day. And if you want to get the best out of your folks, then you have to address that third metric.
Every bit of research you see, more diversity, more women at the top, leads to lower volatility, lower risk, more client focus. And you know what that research has led to? We've moved backwards.
There is something still out there, and if you don't think it impacts work and media and entertainment and politics, then you are kidding yourself.
Well-being, wisdom, wonder, and giving back. The third metric takes the conversation to a whole new level.
Multitasking is a myth. What we actually do is task switching. And while we're doing that new task, we're still holding in mind what was over here to kind of go back to it. It ends up, out of all the things our attention system does, that switching aspect is the most fatiguing.
Renewal is not for slackers. Renewal is a way in which to increase your capacity to be able to be more effective.
Just giving what you have to give.
When most of us measure the success of our lives, we won't ask, did I make enough money or did I have enough power? But I think we'll ask, did I do enough good?
I'm going to go back and ask my team how many of them are go-givers, because we always promote people who are go-getters, we hire people who are go-getters, and I think we need to start changing that.
When you're under chronic stress, your life gets shorter.
The only way we're going to save money, improve the quality of care, improve people's lives is by focusing on prevention.
And when you let your work define what your work-life balance is, you've lost control.
And if we took a little more time to be in the moment and actually talk about real things, you know, our lives would be so much richer.
I mean, if you really knew what was happening to you and you were stressed, you'd like freak out.
Figuring out what is really the driving passion in our lives as individuals, and then having the courage and the ability to say no when people ask things of us that are not in the service of that passion.
I've been meditating for about 2 years now. I did it for the reason you're having this panel, figuring out how to manage a frenetic life. I mean, I was always overtired, always rushed, feeling that kind of constant low-level impatience that's always ready to kind of burst out, and I didn't like it.
You can have it all, but not necessarily at the same time. Oh, you guys have heard that lesson.
When I promote, I tend to promote people that I think are just more conscious, that have a higher degree of emotional intelligence, who are more spiritually awake, because I know they'll be better leaders.
How often do I get to be in Arianna Huffington's bed with Mika Brzezinski?
Exactly. When I'm well rested, I do better work. I don't make mistakes. I think I'm a better wife, a better mom. I mean, I think across the board, I'm a better person.
Probably one of the reasons you wanted to do this is that we're all so busy, stressed, anxiety-ridden, kind of looking at your days and thinking, is this really how I want to live my life?
The third metric, redefining success.
How many of you guys are inspired to go to sleep? TK, do you want to talk to us about your journey?
It definitely is a internal journey as well as an external one. 9 times out of 10, we focus so much on what we look like on the outside that we don't really take that introspective look on the inside. And so much of my journey has been that introspection and looking into myself and really breaking down those barriers and those walls and attacking the hurt and the pain that I had from growing up. My mother died when I was 6 years old, and my father had been incarcerated pretty much my entire life. So I ended up developing a relationship with food. You don't really realize it until you look in the mirror and you're unhappy. There were many days when I cried, and one day God had to say to me, you do everything that you can do, and I'll do everything that you can't do. And I had to really look at myself and be honest and say I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do, which was eat healthy, exercise, and take care of myself. Researchers have shown that sugar has the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Has the same, not grams, but the same impact on your brain as cocaine. It literally gives you that same drug rush and that same high that cocaine does. So you're literally addicted to sugar. So we have a lot of people that are walking around that's addicted to sugar and they don't even know. So that's still part of one of my struggles. I'm in this program called FBF Fitness, and I'm actually a brand ambassador for that program at fbffitness.com. And she really, it's a weight loss challenge, but she really gets people to address their internal pain as well as the external.
And so what happened to you after you started seeing results?
I had to completely embrace the lifestyle and love myself. So it's really a day-to-day thing depending on how you feel. And remember, feelings are fleeting. So you really have to think about yourself in positive terms on a daily basis.
So what you're saying then is that the physical body is really a symptom of what's going on inside. But when did you actually make that switch? When did you go from feeling a victim of your eating habits to feeling empowered by your choices?
I actually made that switch when I tried on a bikini for the first time and it didn't look that bad. The fact that I actually started to feel pretty. The fact that people would tell me that I was pretty and I wouldn't, think in my head, no, you're wrong. I actually help my clients to do a lot of those things. I actually help them to see those changes. I send them out, messages and emails and, daily affirmations and positive affirmations to help them with the weight loss because it's really an internal thing as well. And that's a lot of the stuff that I talk about and touch on in my book, A Big Girl's Guide to Clean Eating.
Can you guys talk to me about the power of choice and decision making and when that mental switch happens?
It's about healing, because as Rumi says, where the wound is, that's where the light will come in. And if you're not aware of your wounds, then where is the light going to come in at? The light is just going to bounce off of you, but it won't go through you. And through the light is where transformation is. Through our own self-examination is where transformation is. And transformation comes one choice at a time, over and over again. It's like a muscle that we have to flex. Make a choice, make a choice. And you only know that you have to make the choice if you're here in the present. We go in and out, that's what we do. But that kind of averts our own healing. I was probably this close to just closing my eyes forever. But Spirit said, no, we're not done with you. I had a therapist appointment that day. See, I don't know who was organizing my life, but I try to take myself out. I have a therapist appointment that I kept that day. Choice, the power of choice.
To keeping promises that you make to yourself.
Right. I said, well, God woke me up again, so I must have some more business to take care of. Let me keep my appointment. I went to my appointment and I said, I told her what happened, and she said, maybe you need a rest. And I said, maybe I do. And so she checked me in, and for about 4 or 5 days, I was in a home, or I was in a hospital, I was in a facility. And what I saw was a bunch of people who at some point decided I'm checking out. Some of them were just gone, but some of them you could look into their eyes and you could see that they were just tired. They were just hanging back, not really sure if they ever wanted to come back. And me being the coach that I was, the coach within me woke up and I said, no, I'm going to talk to these people, and through talking to them, I'm going to heal too. And so it's a choice that we all have to make. And anyone at any point in time can choose to check out. So you really have to be here now, because if you have too many moments of being absent, you won't even know it, but you will have checked out. So again, once I left that facility, and by the way, they said, we wish we had 100 of you. And I said to myself, no, you'd be out of business, So, so I left, and I really got good at being conscious, making a choice, knowing where the hell is your head. Where are you? Are you focused on, something, a negative interaction with someone who isn't being particularly loving at that moment, who I probably don't even need to be speaking to? But where am I? Am I still back there in that conversation? Because if I am, guess what? That's the past. And that's what Arianna is talking about. If you go home and look at this entire video, which I suggest you all do, she brings home a strong message. And I will tell you, when you gave me the video, you gave all of us that link to that video, I didn't look at it right away. I actually didn't look at it till today. And damn it the hell, she took my script. It's life-changing, okay? Arianna talks about making choices, being here now. And so if you're ever just on the brink of just not wanting to live, it doesn't mean everybody's suicidal. It just means we all have moments where we just don't want to do this thing called life. And that's okay. But it's important to recognize that moment, that it's just a moment, and you can have the choice, you can make the choice to just get through to the next moment. And I had to do that a lot after that experience. But when I'm going down that black hole, trust me, I now have a support group. I know who to call. I've got healers in my life. But number one, I put spirit, God, whomever you call that entity. Even if you're an atheist, you have your own higher power within you.
Kevin, we'll talk about the moment, and you help people through yoga get to that moment. Can you talk to us about how you help people get centered?
Which is really easy, by the way. Well, I can remember when I recognized inside that, and it's so funny to think about because it even when it happened, I was like, man, that's so corny. But I can remember being on my yoga mat and actually thinking, oh, this is the way for me. This is the way for me. Like, this is what brings me something greater, a connection to something more, something valuable that had meaning to me. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty profound, because I'd actually been coming, I started at the age of 20 to have seizures, just out of nowhere, just fall on the ground, have a seizure. And they did all of these studies on my brain, and they weren't able to discern anything, and so then the diagnosis was stress-induced seizures. Well, you have stress-induced seizures. Well, great. So they gave me a whole bunch of medicine to be on. Take this medicine and be on it. And so then I stopped and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And after a brief period of time, my I was going into a place of depression, and it wasn't abating at all. And so I began to ask myself what else I could do, right? Like, what more could I do? And one of the things that came up was the practice of yoga, and then gradually I began to identify that it continued to give me something great. It continued to give me a connection and an energy and an inspiration to wake up and to get out of bed and to experience this thing called life. And so I suppose what I try to do when I'm teaching is just to let us all connect to just the energy that is within, like the energy of our being, again, source or consciousness or spirit, and to settle there. And one of the hardest lessons for me to understand and to continue to understand is to be there without judgment, to actually just be in this place of energy, of the moment, of me, without having to say that I am good or bad, without having to say that I is higher than or less than, or any of those categories or words, and just process, just actually be. Like, for example, if you were to close your eyes right now and steady yourself and relax and observe. Observe the energy of your body. Observe your bodily sensations. And as your mind starts to pull you away into emotion, as your mind starts to collect you into thoughts, words, experiences, steady yourself, soften, come back to energy, come back to the present moment, and steady yourself, soften. And it's this continued cycle that I try and practice every day. That I try and practice with myself every day. That I try and practice and invite my friends and the people I care about and who I get to see to just experience.
Wasn't that beautiful?
That was nice.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you.
Justine, let's talk about this ability to get into ourselves. Now that we've got that covered, we know what we're trying to get to, right? Now, tell your friends about it. Tell your spouse about it. Tell your coworkers about it, and they'll look like you're crazy, right? You say, oh, I'm reading, positive thinking, or I'm doing yoga, or I'm going on a retreat, and many times you'll get, the side glance, like, really? What's wrong with you? I don't know about you, but I have those kind of friends. They give me the side look, like, what are you doing? So you realize maybe you need to be friends, right? But really, we have this whole society that's out there, but I feel so positive now. I feel like people are awakening and people are choosing to have this sort of experience. And what's really exciting is that we're meeting other people that are also interested. So talk to us about how is it that you came to be the artist that you are, leading the spiritual practice that you're leading, and then how you were able to come from an environment where it wasn't acceptable.
If y'all want to know what I do, I party. Anybody else party? I party like mud, okay? Party like crazy. But let me tell you something about partying. What I've discovered with my husband and I, we throw a lot of parties. Partying is the bastard child of ceremony, right? What you're looking to do when you party is you're looking to have an out-of-body experience. You're looking to, that's why you consume spirits. That's why when you're partying, you're sweating. If you've ever been to a ceremonial sweat with indigenous peoples, you're releasing a lot of toxins and so on. That's essentially what you're looking for when you go to party. You're trying to let go of all the stuff that you've been attached to all week or whatever the situation is. And you're also trying to consecrate something too. When you have a wedding or when you have something, you're trying to marry a situation. And so partying for me, and comedy also, is an opportunity for people to let down their walls in a very jovial kind of way. And when you do that, it allows for the insertion of certain information that is very vital to you at the moment, right? And that ability to do that gives you the opportunity to be like, yeah, I didn't know about that. When you're at a cocktail party or something like that, you spark up a conversation, you're loose, you're relaxed, you're drinking. And so what that does is it says, oh, I'm talking to somebody I've never talked to before. I'm having a conversation about something I've never had a conversation about before. And what that calls out to you is expansion. In indigenous communities, and I really hold hip hop as an indigenous practice. It is an indigenous spiritual practice. Many people don't understand that. If you have an opportunity to watch a movie called Rise, I suggest you do that. It's about the crump dancing in LA or in California. And they show you the correlations and the parallels of that urban lifestyle and indigenous practices and what is actually taking place there, right? And their partying that they're doing is actually breaking them open. It's breaking them open. So it's a lot of times when we're talking about shifting and we're talking about all these different attributes about changing, becoming a new person, like what is it that you're evoking or what is it that you're practicing that's breaking you open, right? So down south, I live down south, and I've been real blessed to incorporate a lot, understand a lot more about Southern practices. Is people will, down south, people will, rock, the old folks will rock, they do a lot of rocking, and they'll start humming, So, what that is, essentially, is they're literally rocking their souls open. They're literally, and these vibrations that you're seeing, it's intuitive. Right now, there are a lot of very specific sciences that'll tell you what's going on. But those sounds, they're shooting up and down inside of your body. Music does that. Partying does that. You're moving, you're literally shaking open channels in you that break you open so new information can be inserted. So where is it in your life, essentially, that you are allowing yourself to be broken open? The shell is being cracked. You have to actively be seeking and participating. That's why spiritual practice, church, is very important. And it doesn't matter what your religious background is or if you have one. Community is crucial. It is crucial. And the practice of gathering, partying, ceremony, the act of that, doing that collectively, gives you the power to do so. I'm Haitian. And in Haiti, there's a saying that says, "Yo mil mains sous chaque balou," which literally translates 1,000 hands or many hands on a package is not heavy. You know what I mean? So when you are engaged in community and when you're allowing yourself to be broken open, you have 1,000 hands with you. You know what I mean? You spoke about being able to go to the facility. There were people there to support, asking for help, so that you can be broken open. There's a fear of being broken open. I think that's really something that I advocate as an indigenous person. In my eyes, I'm an indigenous person. And through hip hop, is that it's being broken open. Like, how do you allow yourself to be broken open? It may be through yoga, it may be through a myriad of things, the eating habits. But, are you saying that it's okay for you? Have you said that it's okay to be broken?
What feng shui can offer is to basically mirror what's happening in your mind, your emotions, your heart, and bring that into the physical. So if somebody is talking about ceremony, and let's say somebody is currently detached from their own spirituality or what we call your higher self, so that channeling, we'll say create a space within your home. And if you're, for example, if you're in a studio apartment, a lot of times everything's crammed. So we'll either say if it's a house, pick a room and dedicate it, or pick a spot within the studio space and dedicate it. And sometimes people say, well, shouldn't it be like an elaborate thing? Does it have to be, or could it be small? Basically, the idea is intention. If the intention is to make a sacred space that is meant for peace and quiet, then you would gather either certain colors, items, objects, artwork, anything like that, that you personally connect to, and basically create that space. You can even create it on your phone if you wanted to. You could. I have an example. And I'll share that really quick. Or you could create it in your car. You can create it in your wallet. You can carry it as an emblem around you. It's, again, for at least from my perspective and what I've learned through my years of experience, is that you can make anything sacred. Even the clothes that you wear. If somebody puts on a certain shirt, they might say, I feel invincible, I can take on the world. Or if they wear a certain bracelet, like this is a bracelet given to me by my best friend. I'm like, I feel powerful, and she's good at, she does spoken words, so I feel like I'm gonna channel that from her. You know, so it really, you can make it everywhere. And when I was talking about the phone, for me personally, when I want to go into my sacred space, I love to go into the environment. In particular, the mountains. So this year, I made it a goal and an intention that I will be going to Mount Everest. I'm going to the crown chakra of the world, and you know, so you know what the yes. But I'm like, I feel like we all have our different journeys, and there will be different points and different times to make choices. And I said I'm ready for that next step, that next atonement, if you will. And I'm like, it's going to be a strenuous journey, and I know that, but that's also part of discovering who you are. You know, getting outside your comfort zone. It will be the first time I really traveled internationally since I've been adopted from Colombia. That's about almost 29 years, so this is a huge leap, but I'm like, let's do this.
Giving 2.0 is giving of yourself. I have Rhea sitting right there. She is a giver. She gives her time and her energy and her resources. She will go above and beyond for anyone. We all know those kind of people. And I invited Alan over there. Alan, I haven't seen him since last year, right, Alan? But Alan has a giving spirit. Even in his coming here today is a gift to me. These people are giving me a gift because they're allowing me to live my dreams and sharing information with other people. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask directly to our panels, please raise your hand. Or if you have any comments or... Go ahead. Why don't you state your name?
Oh, sure. I'm Anna.
And why did you come here tonight?
My wife brought me.
Is that, and why did you come here tonight?
Very good friend with Kevin.
Oh, very good.
You just gave me away. I was going to ask Kevin where he teaches yoga.
You're a great friend, because he didn't plug himself, so you were going to plug him. Very good friend.
Class act.
Right. You have to give us your website.
Yeah, that would be the easiest. My website is yogalam.com. Yogalam, all one word. Yogalam.com. And my where I teach is on there. And if you, of course, please feel free to come and speak with me privately if you want to know where I teach. Thank you. I forgot to say that, so thank you.
You guys really spoke about on centering yourself, basically, right? Being able to find that place. So what is something that you need to, I guess you said you could use some sort of material, be your phone or anything within your life, but is there something you can say that's to center yourself with the busy, I guess, Manhattan world?
Can you show us the phone trick that you were talking about, and then tell us, give us tips about how to do that?
I mean, ideally, it's hold on. For me, if you wanted, you could either have a saying, you can have an image, and the image could be of family, it could be of your pet, whatever. For me, what calms me and what has me on the driven path right now, it's kind of hard to see, but behind all the apps, there's an image of Mount Everest. So, and the other concept is that if you research what it is that you're drawn to, then that power of understanding becomes more clear. So when I research, okay, I know I want to go to Mount Everest, but what does it spiritually mean? And then I found out, and I was like, wow, she's the mother of all mountains. Like, she is the mother. You know, so I'm like, I respect that. And feng shui, and I'm sure in yoga and the other practices, you can even learn more about yourself through the elements, through the archetypes, all that stuff. So, you know, fusing that together, I've found for me personally, I'm very earth-based, you know, in the Chinese astrology, yet I'm very air in the zodiacs of the Western. But you can blend and mix, and then you can use visuals, you can use sayings, poems, you know, whatever that brings you to center, and you can carry it with you, or be, you know, more traditional, having your wallet or whatever.
So there's no criteria?
There's no criteria. It's whatever works for you, basically.
What do each of you do to center yourselves?
Well, I just wanted to answer you. You know, words have power, and you can just feel where you're at, what it is that you need, and you know, she was saying elements. You can pick an element. So you know, if you just had an argument with someone and you really need to calm down, you can just call forth water. You know, you can say water, river. See how that feels. I mean, that's one way to do it, and it's the same thing, not just with elements, but also with color. You know, anything in life, what you would gravitate to naturally. Like if you could go to the store, and if you could buy, I'm sorry, I'm dating myself. If you could go to iTunes and download, you know, a certain type of music, you know, relaxation, then your word could be relaxation, calm. You know, you can just, words call forth energy, and you can assuage whatever it is that you're dealing with that way. That's one
Basically
thing.
like talking to yourself back to
Back to the universe. And then the universe responds in kind with what you've given him. Because it's a mirror.
It's like a mantra.
So to answer your question, like I said, I'm a Christian, so for me, a lot of things, and then my mother, I call her the one who adopted me, she's also a minister. So for me, I really tap into my higher power, and like everyone else said, it's whatever your higher power is, that's to you, be it Buddha or, you know, Islam or what have you. Whatever your higher power is, tap into that energy and allow that to center you. And for me, I use the scripture, and it's, for we know all things work together for the good of those who serve him. And that helps me kind of to just bring it all together, because it's all things. That's what the scripture says, all things. So that's bad thing, good thing, you know, whatever kind of ruined your day, it's all things. It's going to be working together for your good, and everything has a purpose, a reason, and a season, a lesson, or a blessing.
Thank you.
I'm Liliana. I'm probably like a serial offender when it comes to everything you're talking about, because I tend to work 16, 18-hour days, and besides my full-time job, I have a women's empowerment organization that I'm doing, and then I have all these other community events that I'm always, that I seem to always volunteer for, so I'm constantly busy, and I work 7 days a week. So what tips do you have for a person who is in the business world? In my job, I'm demanded to multitask, and when I hear that multitasking is a myth, I feel like I multitask because, you know, my desk, I have a million things, and I have, you know, people who I oversee basically, and I basically have to guide everybody. So what tips do you have for someone who's in the business world and has a million things going on to you know, live? Because I also recognize that I'm not living.
I have a suggestion. Go ahead. Don't wear panties. I find that people in the business world take themselves very, very seriously, and I feel like the best way to diffuse is to actually, sometimes you can't stop everything that you're doing. But if you can insert a different feeling about what you're doing, or feel something different while you're doing, if you can, you know, sometimes it's about shifting the feeling about what you're doing, and that leads you somewhere else, and that it can really easily navigate you know, what actually needs to be done and what is actually bringing you the most pleasure now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very serious. Like, don't wear panties. Just like today, I'm not gonna wear no drawers. And it's just, and then throughout the day, you'll be like, what am I wearing drawers? And then you'll shift an energy in you know, or whatever it is.
And you'll laugh at yourself.
And you'll laugh at yourself. I find that that's helpful because you're probably super organized and you probably got, that's, you know, you need to chill out.
So I would like for one of you to lead us into a silent space. So what if you just a moment of silence. They're here, so let's go there. Why not go there?
Sure.
Yeah? Can you lead us into a moment of silence?
Wait, let me get some coffee. I know that's anti-metric.
And then we'll close off like
So just get comfortable as you possibly can. Lie on the floor, take a comfortable and get back to a place of observation. Let your eyes settle. Close. And observe the bodily sensations exactly as they are, without having to change anything. The sensation of your thoughts. The sensations of your emotion. The sensation of tension in the muscles. Stillness. Take your left hand and place it on top of your heart center. Create space between the back of your heart and front of your spine. Yourself as you are, precisely as you are. Each other. To all of our teachers. Allow yourself a moment to seal the meditation.
And that's our panel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.